Imagine a place you could upload your content, create a license, and copyright your material with a click of a button. Imagine a time you no longer needed multiple apps to navigate your career. Imagine being part of an ecosystem where you can raise funds without the unnecessary middlemen who monopolize the industry. Welcome to Canistore. My name is Barry Paisley, and over the last year, the team and I have been building an awesome decentralized application to solve real-life issues within the industry. Issues I have personally faced within my career, from ownership to monetization. We are proud to announce that in months to come, we'll be launching our MVP. Users will be able to upload, license, and securely store their content on the internet computer. Your upload is not only time-stamped, but includes a legally binding agreement, which is recognized globally. If users are not uploading content, they'll be discovering content uploaded by other members of the community.
So this is why the community label is a great thing for me. I've had experience of being an independent artist and working independently, and the community label gives you a great opportunity to actually monetize your content, fund your content, but also let a community be a part of it, which is what you want to do when you're being direct to consumer anyway, right? So it gives us a chance to kind of build up a community, build up a rapport, and also a commonality where it's not just me that benefits from it, it's people that want to invest in me personally, not just monetarily, but they're invested in me as an artist or as a person, or want to see you win. So there's multiple benefits for it for me. You might have a Spotify account, a YouTube account, an Instagram account, a Facebook account, a Twitter account. When I come to really do a new campaign of releasing music, what I've got to do is try and migrate all of my users from one platform to another. So I might have to tell all my users about my video on YouTube and direct them there, and the stream on Spotify, and so on and so forth. Another part of that problem is the algorithms that control what we see and what we don't see in terms of content as well. So what will end up happening is maybe 5 to 10% of the people that follow you would actually see the content and get to migrate. That's a really big problem. Another big problem is ownership of that content. Whenever I'm posting something on Instagram or a story or a music video and all that stuff, this is all intellectual property that I've created that once I upload, I don't own. I don't make any money off of. So these are things that you can't necessarily control or dictate how much money is made, where the money goes, who sees it, and so on and so forth. So it's not really in your control. I would love to be able to control all of my own content. Okay, so another one of the main problems, middlemen, right? So whether that be streaming platforms, record companies, conduits, all of these people that actually do more dictating or control the art when it's not actually there. So in my experience, what I found is that I might have an album, I might have a project, I might have a single, I might have a video, and I've got to go to all of these conduits that then dictate to me when I put it out, how much I sell it for, and just all sorts of variables that should really be in my control if it's my art and if it's my intellectual property. Record companies and publishing companies and so on and so forth, that because they control the asset, they dictate when it comes out, they dictate where it goes, they dictate how much it gets, how much they sell it for, and so on and so forth. When if it's my content, I should be doing all of that myself. I should be able to control that if I want to.
Over here at Canistore, we've been working on all the cool things you guys have been expecting and waiting for. Some of those things have been building out the basic functionality that you expect from social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and also figuring out unique solutions to challenges presented by the IC. For example, when you go to Facebook or Twitter and you like a post, you generally expect that result to happen immediately. And it typically does. It takes as long as it takes that message to go from your computer to the servers over at Amazon or Google and back. But with the IC, update calls like that require consensus, which can take some time, though no means slow compared to other blockchains' consensus. but for the user, it could seem delayed and break the UX. So we've opted for optimistic updates. Optimistic updates is when you reflect a change in the UI before you get a response back from the server, and only roll back those changes if the response from the server decides differently. So the user will like a post, the user will make a post, the user will follow a creator or an influencer, and that will be reflected immediately in the UI, and that change will only get rolled back if consensus shows differently. Some other things in the IC that have been beneficial are canisters and canister updates. And to give you guys an idea of the actual problem or the actual opportunity this gives you, let's talk about Ethereum and how Ethereum works. Ethereum has smart contracts. You guys know some of these standards like ERC20 and ERC721 for NFTs. Now these standards are great for Ethereum. They do a lot of work to help the DeFi space be as big and powerful as it is now. But these are more so side effects to a limitation and less so the better way of doing things. With Ethereum, as a developer, when you deploy your contract, you have to settle and accept that you cannot update that contract later on. The value of your token and the features of your dApp are locked into that contract because Ethereum does not allow for contract updates. So this being a limitation, the community over at Ethereum decided on these standards, which is essentially saying that by conforming to this standard, you agree that your functions will be named this, and they will accept this input value for parameters, and they will return this value as a response, so that any other app or dApp, rather in exchange or other contracts, know how to communicate and use your contract. With the canisters on the IC, you're able to update and change your canisters to include new cool features or to optimize them as the space matures and grows. You can also state your variables as stable so that your data persists past these canister updates. And on top of that, you can use something I call a DAN, a decentralized autonomous neuron, and give control to authorize these updates to your community.
So before I dive deeper into the community label, I think good practice will be to look at what token economics actually is. So from the Oxford Dictionary, definition of economics is a branch of knowledge concerned with the production, consumption, and transfer of wealth. As for the definition of token, this is my own, serves as a tangible representation of a set of functions which can have value and or store information. From that, we can decipher that token economics is a set of functions and knowledge concerned with the production, consumption, and transfer of information and wealth within an ecosystem or network. So, any forward-thinking project will know that if they want longevity and success, then the token economic model cannot just heavily reward early users, but it must have a number of use cases, utility, with an incentive and a sense of equality at its core to build a self-sustaining ecosystem. With that in mind, let's have a deeper look at the community label. So within the community label, there are three main actors. The first is your community label treasury or early DAO. The second is the artist, and the third is the fan and the investor. So the community label will enable Canistore's community, that's you guys, to fund artists, be it established or up-and-coming artists, anywhere around the world, by investing in a share of the ownership of that content, be it a single or an album, minted as an NFT. From the artist's perspective, they would submit a proposal detailing the funds they need for reasons, so on and so forth, including an audio track of the single or album they want to record. Once a proposal is submitted and accepted, the artist will have allocated a percentage of the ownership license they are selling to generate funds. This is then offered to the community to invest in the artist and be rewarded an NFT which will represent fractionalized ownership of the original license. So, all music funded by the community label will be released via Canistore's channels on all your favorite streaming sites like Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Apple Music, so on and so forth. The revenue generated through these channels, mainly via royalties, will then be distributed to the artists and investors proportional to their share of the ownership license in the form of Canistore's native token, a stablecoin, or fiat. Now we understand what the community label does, let's focus on how the ecosystem becomes sustainable. So from the community label, there are two main earning potentials. The first is for the fees for paying out the royalties. The second is the ownership, or the percentage ownership, shall I say, of each NFT generated by the community label. For the artist, again, they earn via royalties. They're able to sell on their NFTs as well. For investors, their main earnings are through royalties and the NFT. So, competition time. We all have a competition. We're going to be rewarding 50 members of our community with early access to our Discord, which means getting info before it's released, access to the team, and potentially you can be part of our early DAO, which is pretty cool. So for more information, please visit the Canistore website. That is canistore.io, and there'll be more information here. Thank you guys.